Hi, this is another spares repair that I've just received. It's the probably early 60s diesel multiple unit Triang. Condition's pretty good, all the wheels run. There's a little bit of tarnishing, if you can see it there on the end of these bogies, but I'm sure that'll clean up. The power car, as you would expect, is the one that's going to have the problems, and at the moment, if I apply the ubiquitous PP3, there's just a very slight hesitation and suggestion of a movement. Yeah, there we've got some sparking now. So I think the best thing to do is just to have a quick look inside and see what's going on. Right, so before we go any further, usual procedure: head torch, and better glasses. Okay, these models are great, so easy to get into. Right, so it looks complete. It looks as it may have quite deep flanges. It's turning, but it's tight, and the oil pads look as though they haven't seen oil in probably a couple of decades. So I think the thing to do here probably is just to give this a bit of a clean. The commutator actually looks to be fine. Just look under this brush. Yeah, it's pretty clean. I think probably switch cleaner on that will be sufficient to get it to go. So I wonder, it might be worth just potentially dropping the wheels out. Yeah, let's get some catch and roll here, and definitely want to get some oil in this at some point. I may as well do it now. I don't think I've ever seen one as dry. We'll get some straight to the point of action. It might even be worth taking the bearings out to give them almost a soak in oil. Even that feels better. Don't know if this would now go. Yeah, we now actually have life. Right, let's get a wee bit of grease. Amazing. Okay, so get a lot more oil into this. I think probably the next thing to do would be get it on the rolling road and get some switch cleaner onto the surface of the wheels and the inner face of the wheels where this pickup impinges on the inside of the wheel. I mean, it looks a bit grey. It's probably been in a loft or something. Okay, rolling road. Okay, so here we are. I'll just get this set up to be the right size. Right, cotton buds. Yeah, look at that. Oops. I don't think I've seen anything as dirty as that. Probably put that down as something of a success. Right, so probably the next thing to do is actually get it on the track, but I am suspicious looking at these flanges. I think it might ground on the... I think I can feel it grinding there, yeah. And I've seen people mill these down by putting a file on it, but the idea of running that under its own power and grinding and creating iron filings just fills me with dread, so I don't think we'll do it that way. Okay, so it is on the track and it's not going. But I think I'll need to swap the wheels out and I don't know if I've got any. Right, so what's in here is actually probably more valuable than Edinburgh crystal. I know this is going to look as though it's been set up. It hasn't actually. DMU type bogies. Right, let's take this over to the bench and see what's in it. Right. Almost certainly deep flange. Oh, that's not deep flange. Yeah, I think those are deep as well. There's a set of wheels here. Look at the micrometer on those. Actually, on second thoughts, that's never going to work because the chassis passes the power from the non-isolated wheel to the motor, and given those are nylon axles, that's not going to happen. Okay, so I've replaced the wheels the bogie came with other serrated wheels which have got a rim diameter of 15.3. That compares to the original wheels with 16. And looking at the rolling diameters, it would seem definite that the flanges are shallower, and indeed taking the bogie and manually dragging it along the track, I couldn't feel any bumping. Right, it seems reasonably happy. Given I've changed out the wheels, we'll just get a little bit more grease into that and transfer it to the track. Right, so I should move you now back to the track. Okay, so here we go. Oh, that's much better. It's taking the point work pretty well. Right, okay, let's get some more oil into the bearings, get a bit more running done on it, and turn my attention to the other rolling stock. But I think really straightening up the couplings and probably removing the rust from the ends of the middle coach axles on one side, I think it's probably good. This was just in a box with bubble wrap that came to me. These probably have been bent in transit. So you can see that's the dummy coach in the end. It's remarkably clean. There's a little bit of play wear you can see on the numbering, but I mean, I've got one of these myself. It was the very first train set that I got as a wee laddie when I was about 3, and that's quite a few years gone since then. So yeah, and there's very modest amount of rust just there and there. The only way to clean that's going to be to get these out. I don't know. These are usually, we normally separate, but they don't seem to be separating. Look as though, and these ones are separating. That one's a bit stiff to do it. Yeah, I think to do justice to this, I think the axle sets need to come out. Yeah, I think so. As you can probably see from the video, there is a degree of shake on the middle coach and the dummy coach in particular. And looking at this, the flanges on the wheels are too deep. And I looked at milling them, but the difficulty with that is you end up having to shave the inner face of the wheel to ensure that the bottom of the flange is thin enough, and that then increases the back-to-back. I know, think it's horribly complicated and it doesn't really work terribly well. So I am going to have to change out the wheel sets, having successfully done the power bogie. Hello. So I mentioned earlier that regrettably I'm going to have to change the wheel sets on this model because it's undoubtedly slightly older than the one that I've had since a long time ago, and it's got deeper flanges. So in the case of the power bogie, I found wheels which are the same as my my own DMU, and that worked. I got these wheels because many years ago, when I was experimenting in my late teens with lighting inside the DMU in this case, I used incandescent bulbs as LEDs weren't around in those days, and melted the roof. So the simplest thing to do was to acquire a full scrap body, and that's where these wheels came from. So there we go. I also found in my collection that I had this other middle coach. Now I guess I could make 4-car DMUs. The 101s I believe came in 2, 3 and 4 configuration typically. However, this one's fine. The flanges are well under the 1.6, which I think is the maximum that Code 100 can cope with, although that seems more than I would expect. These flanges are probably no more than 1 millimetre. And the dummy car, I couldn't find any more of the sleeved versions of the wheel sets, so I've taken pinpoint and put in a brass top hat at one side and a brass sleeved bearing at the other side, and then I have applied into the axle boxes, both here and here, a little bit of black tack, which to my mind seems a lot more sensible than blue tack, given its consistency and its colour, and then just allowed a little piece of super glue to go in there and solidify, and so these actually are running really smoothly. So I'm pretty pleased with that. The next frustration now is that I've got seating in the centre coach and not in the end coaches, so I am at the moment experimenting, seeing if I can 3D print myself a set of seats. On the left is my original Triang Class 101 with the destination sign of Derby. The one on the left has got a sound capsule installed in it, lighting, and a stay alive battery for the lighting and the sound. The one on the right is the one I've just got and started to refurbish. As you can see, there's no destination board on that one, And as I said, it doesn't have seating in the front and rear carriages. Or more correctly, it does have seating in the rear carriage now.